Here we are again, back to the car wash, and today we picked an inclement day. We've got a bottom section that's been compromised. Just had a little bump in the middle of the night. Who knows, but it could have been anyone. Today we found out that the bottom section filled up with some moisture. We've got about 15, maybe 20 pounds of extra weight on that door, so the counterbalance system, whether it's springs or counterweights, is going to be off, and that door isn't going to operate the way it should. So today we're going to replace the bottom section. Picked a real bad day, and it's a perfect day to do it because there's not much traffic. So let's get after it. The very first step in replacing your door section is to disconnect that door from the opener and lift the door off the floor approximately 4 to 6 inches. Once that's completed, I used a couple of vice grips to prevent the door from traveling down by locking them into the track directly underneath the rollers of the section, right above the section that's being replaced. The next step is to relieve tension on the cables that lift the door. Accomplishing this depends on the counterbalance type that the door is manufactured with. The polycarbonate door we're working on uses a counterweight system, so I drilled a hole in the PVC guide tube and inserted a winding rod underneath the weight canister to hold the weight. Then I back wound the counterweight spool until the weight rested on the bar inserted in the guide tube, taking the tension off the cables. If you have a door that utilizes a torsion spring system, all you have to do is completely unwind the springs, which will allow the door to rest on the vice grips. In both cases, the cables will be loose, and it's super safe to remove the bottom bracket. From my many years of experience, I know the cardinal rule for safety is to never remove bottom hardware when a door is under tension and the cables are not loose. That's one of the reasons why I still have all of these digits on my fingers. The next step was to remove the bottom brackets from the door section. Sometimes you need to pry away the door bracket if it's been on there a while. Once the bottom brackets are removed, the door hinges on the top of the section being replaced are then removed. Now we can remove the old door section. We just pull it out of the opening and set it aside. Later we'll take it to the dump. Now the exciting part, putting in that new section. We then place the new replacement section in the door opening and install the bottom brackets to the new section in the same position as where the old ones were. As you can see, the cables were still attached properly to the bottom brackets. Sometimes it's necessary to shift the section from left to right to align that bottom section properly with the rest of the door above. The next step is to allow the sections above the replacement section to drop down and rest on the new replacement bottom section. The top hinges are then fastened to the new door section with the hinge screws. Now you can use the existing or new hinge screws, but once this is done, we can put tension back on the door. But before doing so, we need to make sure your cables are aligned properly on the drums, and we need to check that door system for any binding or misaligned components. We added tension back on the door by either winding up the springs or by winding up the counterweight spool and removing the bar we used to hold up that weight canister. Once this is done, we're able to open the door to a level that allowed us to easily install the rollers in the track and install the roller carriers on the bottom bracket. And that's it. The new section's installed, the door can be balanced and adjusted, and the door can be cycled by hand. And when that door is properly operated by hand, you can go ahead and hook up your operator and adjust it as necessary. You can use these same steps to replace just about any section on the door, whether it be the bottom section, the bottom 2 sections, or the bottom 3 sections. The process is exactly the same. As you can see, replacing a bottom section on a polycarbonate door is just as easy as 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't matter if it's a little bump in the night or if you really have to check your cameras to see what happened. Polycarbonate doors do get damaged, and you got to replace those bottom sections. So make sure you take a day where it's not too profitable. Take the time, just a few minutes, to replace out that section. And if you're looking for polycarbonate replacement sections, rollers, hinges, just about any component for a car wash door, check out our website at carwashdoors.com or give one of our experts a call at 800-233-1487 and let our experience go to work for you.